Hi, everybody. It is Carolina Cooney here with the Oak Bluffs Public Library, and it's time for Cooking with Carolina. And today I am going to make a dish with this very handsome butternut squash I have here. It's kind of a butternut squash macaroni and cheese kind of thing. So I'm pretty excited. And let's get started. I'd like to thank the Library Friends of Oak Bluffs for sponsoring the program and helping me get all these great ingredients. And let's see, I am going to first start a big pot of water to boil for the pasta. So let's do that. And grab my cold ingredient. Now, when I cook pasta, I do use a very big pot and a lot of water. I don't know, it just seems to be the way you're supposed to do it. And I think it turns out better that way, so I do it. So let's see, it should be almost So here's my big pasta pot, and you can kind of see how much water I have in there. It's filled like halfway or so, maybe a little more. We'll just put that on the stove and put it on high. All right, now we're going to tackle this puppy here. First thing we're going to do is to peel it. So I have my peeler. I guess we'll just dig right in. I do not cook with butternut squash very often at all. Hi, Jack. Thank you for joining me. So I'm not quite sure the best way to peel it. It has a very thick skin. Just like that. Kind of goes flying everywhere. A bit Swedish. So this butternut squash is actually still from the CSA that I got a few weeks ago. It's one of the sole survivors. I wanted to use it before it went. I thought kind of a macaroni and cheese dish would be good as a side for the dinner I've prepared for tonight, which is some pulled pork sandwiches. Cooking is hard work. All right, so I started with the neck. So let's get the bulbous part here. I actually think I'm going to grab a towel because now that I have peeled the top part, it's pretty slippery to try to hold on to and peel the rest of it. This one is not as easy. if there's an easier way to do this, but I'm kind of, hi Mohammed, I'm kind of having to peel in 3 steps. Let's see how we do this last part. Because of the curve, it doesn't really, maybe we'll try sideways like this. I'm gonna have peeler's arm tomorrow. I definitely see the appeal, get it? Of buying the pre-peeled and cut up butternut squash at the store. Like, that's a worthwhile purchase, I can tell you now. Almost there. Okay, I'm saying that's good enough there. So now that we have this guy peeled, let's get all these peelings out of the way. It does smell kind of good. It reminds me of the smell of pumpkin. Pumpkin. Okay, let's put this over in the compost zone. Okay, now the butternut squash needs to be coarsely shredded. So what we're going to do, I've already decided I'm not going to do it this way because it's going to be cooked anyway, so the texture and mushed, so maintaining a certain texture is not important. It just needs to be cut into very small pieces for cooking. Woo. There we go. And of course, look at that beautiful color. Isn't that just lovely? So, there you go. You can kind of see it that way. So of course, a butternut squash does have seeds. So we want to take those seeds out. Whew. All right. And for that, you can use a spoon, or, you know, I like to use my hands. Ooh, it does smell really good. If you want to get all the little stringy stuff out, you can certainly use a spoon and scrape that out. But since we're going to be grinding it up anyway, I'm not terribly concerned. Okay. So now that we have the seeds removed, shuffling in my too small kitchen here to get out the food processor. And we're going to cut this into smaller pieces. Just kind of smaller chunks, maybe about an inch or so wide. I caught that. It is slippery. I'm going to put it in this bowl now, just to move it out of the way. Okay, so now we will start out with just a few of the pieces in our food processor. We don't want to overwhelm it. So this is going to be a little loud here. Woo! And hold on to that sucker when you do that, because the butternut squash is so thick and hearty that it really like wants to run off. Wants to jump out of the bowl at you. So I'm actually going to do this in batches. So instead of shredding it, here we are, we've just made it into, we've chopped it up. We don't have to chop it too finely. All right, put a few more pieces in here. A couple more just to speed up the process. Okay, hold on to your blenders. Woo! Actually, I think worked a little better with more in there. It made it a little more consistent of a chop. think hand shredding this would really take a long time. Here we go. All right. And we have our pasta water just about boiling. I'll just leave this in here rather than put it in the bowl because it might overflow. Okay, so now that we are doing that, what we're going to do is make some bacon. Okay, so it says, the recipe I'm using, that is, says to make the bacon in a 12-inch pan on the stove. However, I'm terrible at cooking bacon on the stove. I always ruin it. So I'm not going to do that because I like my bacon cooked in the microwave. We're going to use about half the package. This is a 16-ounce, 1-pound package. And we only need 8 ounces, so we'll use half of it. And I have this great microwave bacon tray where you put the bacon on there and then all the grease goes in the bottom. So actually we need to use some of the grease as well. So this will allow us to save the grease that we need to use and get healthier, actually. I mean, if you can say bacon's healthy in any way, but it will be a little healthier because it doesn't cook in the grease so much. And I feel like it gets crispier too if you can manage to get the right timing on it. And I do like my bacon extra crispy. So I can only fit about 5 slices on my little bacon tray here. We might have to do one more round after this. And now what we do before we put this bacon into the microwave to cook is cover it with 1 or 2 paper towels to keep it from getting grease all over your microwave. So, be right back. And bacon actually cooks in the microwave for a bit longer than I expect. If you want it to be crispy, I tend to start at about 4 minutes, and it's usually good there. Okay, so our pasta is cooking, and our bacon is cooking. Actually, our pasta is boiling. Now we're going to put the pasta in the water to cook. So what I have here is a very fancy salantini. And I'll show you the marvelous shape of these. These are actually one of my favorite shaped pastas because they're so cool. Look at that little corkscrew. So I'll make about half the package. And when you put your pasta in the water, you definitely want to stir it around until the boil starts boiling up again so it doesn't stick together. Trade secret right there. All right, now we need to prepare some garlic. We need 3 cloves of chopped garlic. Some nice big cloves, so you know this is going to be tasty. So if you have trouble peeling the garlic, a little trick I use is to take the end that is closest to the center and just kind of crush it down on the cutting board, and that kind of breaks the seal and makes it much easier to peel. We do want to finely mince this garlic, since it's going to be in our finished product. We don't want to get a big mouthful of garlic intensity. You want it spread out. Everything's getting a workout, huh? Arm, your wrist. Cooking should be an Olympic sport. Okay, we have some nice minced garlic. I just heard the microwave finish the bacon. Go to grab that. And of course, you do want to be careful when taking it out because there is a lot of very, very hot grease. See, it's not even quite done for my liking yet. So I'm going to put it in maybe about, I'll put it in for another minute, but I'll probably stop it before that. Like I said, it has to be crispy. It is a must. Okay, let's give our pasta a stir. And you might as well get out your strainer while you're doing that. Get ready to drain it. So once we have our little bacon grease to work with, we're going to put that in our pan and move on over to the stove. Listening to my bacon now. Also a good skill to have. Gotta keep an eye on your bacon and your popcorn in the microwave. Okay, oh yeah, now we're talking. So you can dispose of your nasty, greasy paper towel. And we'll put the bacon, carefully take it off, put it to the side. Hot, hot, hot. At this point, it's still cooking a little. And it will get crispier as it cools off. Okay. Now, rearrange again. So we need about 2 tablespoons of bacon grease that we're going to put in our skillet here. Adjust ever so slightly. And we want to cook this over, I would say about medium. When in doubt, go medium heat. Okay, so I'm just gonna pour, this is probably about 2. Not quite all the bacon grease in there, but most of it. And we'll wait for this to get hot in the pan. And we're also going to need some red pepper flakes. And we'll be using some sage, some fresh sage. About 6 leaves of fresh sage. Smells very nice. I have kind of some smaller leaves here, so. We'll say that's about 6. See, now I have to find something else to do with some sage. So if anybody has any ideas, put them in the chat. Okay. It does smell good though. We'll put this back here with the bacon because we need to access our garlic. Say, we're good here, and I also have my spurtle handy to move my garlic around. So we'll put that in, and let's see, about a ½ teaspoon of crushed red pepper. And of course, whenever you put liquid in your pan, you can tell if your stove is level or not. Mine is never quite perfect. All right, so I'm just going to take a little, 2 pinches, 2 small pinches. I do not want it to be too spicy, just a little flavor. So we'll put that in. We're cooking this for 30 seconds, stirring it pretty much the whole time. You don't want to burn it. Garlic can be very sensitive to the heat. And so that's probably close enough. You're getting that nice garlic flavor in with the oil. And now we'll put in all our butternut squash. A lot of butternut squash, let me tell you. You definitely need the big pan. And you also want to add a little pinch of salt, but not much because you're going to have bacon in this dish, which is always, you know, that's a lot of salt in and of itself. So just a pinch. So now we'll be cooking this for 10 minutes. And I'm going to go ahead and just turn my pasta off about a minute before it's done, because I'm just going to have it sit in the water to stay warm instead of draining it, since we still have a little while to go with our butternut squash. So what we're going for here is we really are going to make it soft and squish it up into more of a saucy consistency. And for that, I have a masher. So I have two mashers that I keep in the house. I have a metal masher that I love for mashed potatoes and things, but this is a plastic masher that can be used on Teflon pans. So you don't want to use your metal masher on your Teflon pan or you'll scratch the hell out of your pan and I would be very angry. So now I can just take this and start squishing it down every now and again. And I do have this on like a medium low. So what we'll do now while this is happening is to chop our sage. Make me hungry. Okay, let's chop some sage. Now this we're just chopping. We are not mincing. And here's where the quality of your cutting board really can make a difference is you'll notice when you're chopping things. This was a very expensive, fancy-dancy bamboo cutting board, but it isn't quite flat and it doesn't have any give. So when you chop, it doesn't really cut through fully, which is kind of frustrating. Not ideal. I prefer a softer wood is much better. I have another cutting board that's a softer wood that works better. And the plastic cutting board also has a little give to it. That really allows the knife to penetrate better. So I've just done kind of a rough chop there. Pretty small. But not as small as a mince. And you're also going to want to chop your bacon. I think this is enough bacon. I'm not going to make more. Hopefully. I guess it's crispy enough. Could be crispier. It's a thick cut, so it takes longer. So we're mashing down over here. Mashing and stirring. And you can see it's starting to break down just a little bit. So we'll chop our bacon. All right, decent. And then do a little more mashing. And as you can see, it'll cook down a little, but it's a lot of butternut squash in there. So this is going to make quite a big bunch of sauce. I don't think we're actually going to be able to use it all, on the amount of pasta I have. This is like for a party, which of course I'm not having. Okay, let's get a measuring cup. And we're going to put together 2/3 of a cup of half and half. So here again, you know I like to be crafty in the kitchen, so I don't have half and half, but I do have heavy cream that I need to use, and I have milk. So we're gonna make our own half and half. Maybe not. That's fine. Okay. Woo! It's heavy cream. So there's some of that in there. And some of that in there to get to 3/4 of a cup. Not 2/3. Close enough. Okay, let's mash some more. And we're definitely mashing up quite nicely now. Yeah, maybe 2 or 3 minutes left. And so you can see now why you want to use shredded or very finely chopped butternut squash, because it cooks a lot faster. Now we're really talking. Maybe about a minute more of mashing. It's hot work standing over the stove. Okay, I think we're about good. So now what we're going to do is to add the half and half. I would turn it down actually, just to low or close, almost low. And we're going to put in that half and half, and we're going to put in our chopped sage. And carefully stir this all together here. And this will cook for about 2 minutes. And once you put in the half and half and have surveyed your temperature, you can always put it up just a little more if you feel the need. Use your best judgment. So it's not exactly creamy, but it is fairly saucy. So we'll cook it for about a minute more here. And we're actually going to take our pasta and we're going to reserve about half a cup of the pasta water. And then drain the rest. Now, when I drain my pasta, I always like to toss a little extra virgin olive oil on it, just so it doesn't stick. Not a lot, just a shake. Now we could return the pasta to our big pot. And now that this has cooked for about 2 minutes, we can turn it off and find a spoon. And I don't think just because it would overwhelm the pasta, I'm not going to put all the sauce in there, but I'll put a good bit. So now I'm transferring some of the sauce, the majority of it, over to the cooked pasta. Switch over. And now we will add, I forgot one of the secret ingredients, pecorino. So this we need about half a cup of coarsely grated pecorino. So gotta have that. And so about half a cup. Maybe a little more. Why not? Okay, so we have our delicious cheese and our delicious bacon, and we're going to add those to our delicious sauce mixture. All right, and then we're going to add the cooking water that we saved, half a cup. Pour that on in. Give it a little pinch of salt. And let's toss this up. So that cooking water just allows it to kind of blend a little better. It It's delicious. I'm so excited. Really am starving. This made me super hungry. I'm very excited to try. Okay, looks good to me. So, time for a taste test. Get a little bit with something of everything. Grab a fork. Get it a little cooler. Mmm. Okay, personally, I like it better than macaroni and cheese. It is good. We have a winner. And I guess that's the show. So, thank you for joining me. Enjoy your own butternut squash pasta when you make it. I definitely recommend it. It is well worthwhile. And have a great night. I'll see you next week on Cooking with Carolina.